Mayor Ed Holder highlighted his plans and priorities for the coming year at his annual State of the City address on Wednesday morning before a sold-out crowd of 1,400 people at RBC Place. The most compelling announcement was a pledge from Mayor Ed Holder to transition London's public transit buses from diesel to a fully electric fleet, and that's a move Holder said he'd like to see happen over the next 10 years.
To have a zero-emissions public transit fleet for buses. We will do this by moving away from diesel to a fully electrified fleet. That is the goal that I would like to take Council forward in the years to come. Ultimately, we will be judged by our actions, not our words. It is why this measure is so important. Greenhouse gas emissions from LTC buses represent as much as 40% of the emissions, either controlled by or directly influenced by the City of London. Aside from the obvious environmental benefits, the savings we will realize by making the switch from diesel to electric will provide millions of additional dollars every year. Monies that can be used to drive our economy, monies that can be used to improve transportation and fund programs to our most vulnerable. We have a housing and homelessness crisis, along with a climate emergency. But this move to electric public transit will help address all three.
Holder spent much of his address focusing on London's social challenges and the need for the city to invest in housing, addictions, and homelessness solutions.
We have, in fact, more than 350 individuals who have been housed through our Housing First program over the last 12 months. That includes more than 100 people as part of London's first ever Housing Stability Week, just a couple of months ago. We also know that since April, the number of people experiencing chronic homelessness has decreased in London by 15%. Is that enough? It's nowhere close.
The mayor used the Woodman Ave explosion, which rocked London's Old East Village neighborhood last summer, as an example of how London can come together and rally around those in need.
We need to look no further than Old East Village. The explosion that rocked Woodman Avenue the night of August 14th was terrifying. What followed was inspiring. In the minutes, hours, and days, and weeks after the blast, the best of our city was revealed. As they do so often, as they did again that night, our brave first responders risked their own safety in the service of others. Several of them were injured, one critically. From looking at the damage, few could believe that theirs were the worst injuries suffered that night. As you know, there was no loss of life, only a community brought to life.